Sure.
to what you had said about the fan base and growing your fan base and everything during this time. I've been trying to study a lot more about just business in general and branding and the marketing and the things that we kind of ignore as musicians because we're so incredibly creative. We don't really think of ourselves as little businesses. We think of ourselves as an artist, and we put out, things to the world and we help people. But something that, has kind of been I listen to a lot of music podcasts and business podcasts and study, YouTube for bosses and things like that. And something that's kind of been nailed into my brain over and over and over again is really, really learning how to utilize the internet to your advantage. Like really trying to pinpoint, as Matt said, your target audience, really trying to connect with people on a one-on-one level, but also, finding what your niche is in your, specific area of music, trying to figure out how to utilize the algorithms on Facebook and through advertising, figuring out how to put call to actions on your YouTube videos to give people free downloads and then get their emails and all of those things, and really just start thinking of the internet as a tool versus this big scary thing that's like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how Twitter works, or what the hell's TikTok? Like, what, I don't understand all these things. But learning how to use those to your advantage as a musician by knowing what your why is and what your content is and the reason behind everything that you're putting out. That may have come out a little jumbled because my brain is a little scrambled from my ADD. But the biggest part is really thinking of yourself as a business owner and not just someone who likes to play songs and not someone who likes to just, tour and get on the road. But like, I have something valuable that I'm contributing, that I want to give to people, that I want to connect with people with, and then finding those channels in order to use it, create an opportunity right now, I think is the biggest thing. Creating, something I've been putting off for a long time is figuring out how to use the internet to my advantage, because I've always been on the road. I've made money touring. So it's kind of been that, I don't really need to get a ton of Spotify streams because I'm touring. But now everything's kind of turned upside down, and it's that, okay, well, as Andrew said, we've got a channel here of being able to make money through the internet and to be able to connect with fans through the internet and through ways that we can't do in person because of COVID. So just really learning, for me, a big thing that I'm passionate about right now is just learning how to use all of this the best way possible to make sure that when I do tour again, that I'm getting in front of bigger audiences, that I'm, connecting with more people, doing more home shows outside of the cruising community, really being able to expand out my reach. So that's kind of a lot of things that I've been contemplating.
Well, Francisco invited me to join, and I am obviously not a musician. So the first thing I did was go look at all of your web presence and listen to all of your music. And Amy, I thought you did a great job on your website. So you're being a student of business is really important advice for everybody here. And I have another business out in Oregon that I've had for 20 years, and we do licensed music when you're on hold, right? And music messaging on hold. So you get voice talent and music talent and things like that, put it all together and solve a problem and maintain that for a company. And my partner and I have said, what we want to be is anywhere in our underwear, right? And which now we're all talking about. You're doing things that can let you be anywhere in your underwear, and you're creating stuff that connects with everybody else that's in their underwear at home now. Right. I do think that's really, really good advice, is to study. It's not just a creative craft, but it's a business relationship development. It's creating an organization. So she's organizing the thoughts that go behind delivering the product that you can create uniquely. That's really good advice. You all have done a good job of it.
No, don't worry. It's okay. Thank you. Those of us musicians that haven't know that we have.
But if there's work to be done, right?
Yeah.
Always work to be done.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Well, what I think you create when you write a story happens to be about something that you understand, but why it connects with people is because they understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you're really telling their story more so than you're telling your story in the end, if you're trying to grow a fan base, right? Connect with more people. So that's why we talk about angry breakups songs, because we've all had angry breakups,
Yeah.
And right now, we're maybe needing some more hope in our music because that's what we need. I think that's how you build a fan base. That's how you build business. It's how you build an organization is you do something to serve other people. And you remember it's service above self. Now, you're really good at it because you have high standards, you're creative, you're excellent at your craft, and you can tell that story better than anybody else, but it's still somebody else's story, or they wouldn't connect with yours. And
Yeah, that's the only thing is like when you're taking demand too much into account, like
Yeah.
you got to be real careful because something not being authentic, people can smell it from a mile away and they don't want any part of it. So you can think you're doing something to like
You don't want to be too much on the nose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be authentically you and your words, and especially like these days right now. Like I really hesitate to share other people's words and phrases just because I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to be able to defend whatever I say. So like it might as well be my words, so I know that I believe in them and that I have a cogent argument for like why I said them. So I think that's
You can't take it back, right? Once you release a song, it's out there.
for sure.
I didn't mean it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So a couple other things too.
Isn't that fair to say though? You wouldn't do something that wasn't authentic.
Absolutely.
Which is why you connect with people who hear the
That's right.
authenticity in it. And it's a real story. And everybody else has a similar story. We're all living in
Right.
fear right now at some level. And we're all in touch with uncertainty at a level that we haven't been in a long time, right?
Yeah. But you just gotta be careful not to feed people who are starving to death cookies and only cookies. You know what I mean? Like everybody's a fan of blankets, but like you've heard people specifically be a huge fan of like, there's this one duvet company. Like the more specific you get, the more tailored the outfit that you're making is, the less people it fits on, but the more people it fits better. And so that's how specific can we get this thing to where I feel like I'm really reaching my pinnacle and people are like, ooh, this feels good, and you lose people, but the people that you keep are like way down.
You know what's tricky? Is I recently got married, and
That sounds tricky.
That's when songwriting gets interesting, is because your spouse is like, oh wait, well what's that song about? Is that about me? I'm like, I'm a storyteller. Like, that doesn't have to be about you or me. Like,
Is that about some other girl?
Yeah, right.
I mean, like a
Wait a
legend.
second, my whole career has been depressing love songs, breakup songs. Like, now how do I write about happiness and about,
You better not.
But
It sounds
no.
boring.
It speaks to your question, right?
Right.
The innovators see innovation,
Mhm.
Right.
and then they want to track, learn, and exchange ideas. And I also think you said something, Amy, about bartering.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge amount of value in. I'll sit down with your business plan and walk you through my life experience, and you do a house show, right?
Yeah.
And I'll go get 40 friends, and we'll put some people in front of you that can create I mean, there's just so many ways that people reluctantly recognize other people's value, and then there's so many ways where people embrace other people's value. And I think you got something going on with that comment about bartering.
Yeah.
You can trade unlimited value, because like your experience is unlimited value. My grandfather used to tell me, he said, you're always either overpaid or underpaid. You're never paid what you're worth,
Yeah.
ever. So, think about what you're doing, that I'm exchanging value.
Exchanging value.
Exchanging value, yeah. We're not measuring it in any particular monetary fashion. We're measuring it in the way that we're experiencing it.
Yeah.